Hello everyone, how are you this Friday afternoon? My name's Carl. Welcome to this webinar about TEFL job applications here on behalf of the TEFL org. We're here to help people become TEFL teachers. So if you're thinking about becoming a TEFL teacher somewhere in the world, or maybe you're already a TEFL teacher and you're looking to apply for other jobs, you've landed in the right place. I can see some people saying hello in the chat already. They love to hear where people are in the world. I can see Eli in Israel, Juliana in Missouri, Dawn in Florida. The Americans are in. Angela in Spain, Jennifer, hello, Fabiana in Brazil, Bonilla Santiago in Dublin. Doesn't sound like a Dublin name, but there we go. My name's Carl, and please say hello in the chat. Please say hello. It's lovely to hear from you all, wherever you are in the world. I'm a tutor here at the TEFL org, so I run some of the practical courses here in Northern Ireland, where I live. I also work as an online teacher. I work as an examiner. I've been lucky enough to have worked in various places around the world. I've worked in China, Vietnam, Sri Lanka, Azerbaijan, Japan, Iraq. Just before the pandemic, I was working in Spain and Italy quite a fair amount. Kazakhstan, I've worked there. I don't know if I said that before. Many years ago, I worked in South Africa, but now I live and work here, mainly in Northern Ireland. So please, all the hellos. Hello, Lewis in Brighton, Vincent in Italy, Mpumi in Switzerland. Hello, Jana in Slovakia. Sally going to Germany, hello, and I can't keep up with all the hellos. So please, if you've got any questions at all about teaching English as a foreign language, put them in the chat. If I can answer them as I go through this webinar about job applications, I will. If not, please stay to the end. I promise that either myself or Alan, who is monitoring the chat, will answer them for you. I'm basically going to go through about what to include in things like CVs, what to include on application forms, this kind of thing. Okay, so please, any sort of questions you have or any experience you have, please put that in the chat. Right, let's get going. So what to include in TEFL applications. Okay, so first of all, I want to talk a little bit about the application process. And this will cover working online and also working in face-to-face jobs, okay? Because there's sort of similar similar processes in what you need to do, okay? There's variety in the questions maybe, but there's definitely similarities between the two. Now, you will see differences in what companies want. If you see 5 jobs advertised for to come work in Beijing, they might want to have 5 different documents that you need to send them, or they might want you to lay it out in 5 different ways. Likewise, if you are going for work online, you will see some companies want you to do something in particular, whereas other companies don't really want that. You will also find that there might be terms instead of just not submitting written documents to apply. So they might want you to upload a video talking about yourself, introducing yourself. If you're online, going for a job online, very often they want you to upload or create some sort of video where you're doing a trial lesson. That is also something that comes in the application process. I won't be covering that too much today. I have done videos on this website, on this Facebook page or this YouTube page where I've talked a bit about applying and making videos, that kind of thing. We also have blog pages on our blog on TEFL.org where we talk a bit about that. But mainly today, I'm going to be talking about CVs and application forms, that kind of thing. Okay. Now, read really clearly what the company wants. Read it again and then read it again and again, exactly what they want. Now, sometimes this is not written by someone whose first language is English. Quite often it's written by somebody who is like an admin member of staff in China, Korea, Japan, wherever it might be. So you might find that it's not 100% clear what you're reading in the job description. Don't let that put you off. That's very, very normal. The job descriptions aren't normally written by someone who has a native level of English. They are a lot of the time, but they're not sometimes, okay? So just read really clearly what they want. And then, because as someone who has had to deal with people's job applications, I can tell you it's infuriating. I almost hit my microphone about how annoyed it is. It's really annoying when people don't read clearly what they need to do, okay? And it's really it's the thing that makes me want to just discount people straight away, especially if I've got lots and lots of applications coming in. So if there's a way to sort of automate your application process, it's like click here and apply with one click, be really careful, because sometimes the job application centers aren't linked to what the company really, really wants. So read clearly, read clearly, read clearly, read clearly. All right. You might need to fill in a form, an application form, and send a CV, and you might need to duplicate things. That's just the way it is. It drives me mad when the application form asks you for something and a CV asks you for exactly the same thing, and you have to type it out and you have to copy and paste it. But that's what companies want you to do. That's what you need to do. Okay. It drives me mad. Okay. But that's what you need to do. If that's what the company's asking you to do, that's what you need to do. Okay. Hope that's clear. All right. Now, if they ask for a CV, and I think it's pretty much most jobs that would ask, TEFL jobs that would ask for a CV. They might ask you to fill in a form, but they also ask for a CV. Basically, they're going to either ask for a CV or they're going to ask for an application form and a CV. So a CV is a big part of it. Okay. And if a company asks for a CV, the first thing that I think you need to have on it is a personal section. And that might sound obvious, but a lot of people don't do this, okay? They just sort of put their name at the top in big letters, and then they just start listing their qualifications. Think about a personal section. So what kind of thing to include in that is something like your full name. Now, you've got to make it clear what is your first name and what is your family name. So I quite often put family name, like very clearly, right? My family name, comma, colon, and then Cameron Day, because that's my family name. First name Carl, in what order? Just be really careful. If I don't know someone's name, it drives me which way to call them, especially if your name isn't clear to that person. So Chinese names, for example, are written in a different order, maybe from your language. Chinese people might not actually be aware of what your name is, what is a first name, what's a family name. So just make that clear. Your nationality, and that tends to be your passport, the passports that you have. That's very important for companies. Not that's often more important what passport you have than what your first language is. Okay. Date of birth, because they need to know if you're going to be applying for a job where they need to get you a visa, if you will hit that visa requirement for age. Then obviously you want an email address. Have a professional email address. Don't have Carl, the poker player 47 at gmail.com, something like that. Have a professional email address. Your phone number, including international dialing code. And also I recommend you, even if you're not going to use it, start a Skype account, because it shows that you know that you will have to do some sort of video chat with them, because that's generally how the interview's done. Personally, I then like a one-sentence summary on any TEFL CVs I get. So I want something like a newly qualified TEFL teacher looking to teach in China, or looking to teach young learners in China, something like that. Or, a graduate of English, a TEFL qualified graduate of English looking to start their teaching journey, or an experienced teacher of English wanting to expand into other roles, whatever it might be. Something like a summary that sort of summarizes who you are and what you do. Okay. Don't make it too long. One sentence is enough. That's what I like. Okay. Then, and this is quite different from where I am in the UK. Very often in the UK, you don't submit a photo on your CV. Countries abroad, though, especially in Asia, they tend to really like having a photo. Now, the photo, don't have your passport photo looking boring like that. Don't do that, okay? You know, try and have one where you're maybe sort of sitting at a different angle, smiling, something like that. Yes, it looks cheesy. Yes, it looks kind of corny, but that's just something that that companies want, okay? Put a shirt on, yeah. If you've got long hair, tie it up nicely. Don't have your friends in the background. I've seen all of these kind of things, okay? Be very careful if you've got lots of tattoos. Be careful that you're not showing the tattoos, this kind of thing. Look professional, but also smiley and happy, okay? Please get the questions come in. Please get the questions coming in if you've got any. I can see some already there, and I promise you I'm going to get around to them. So then after you've got your photo up there, you've got your name clearly, you've got a personal statement, you've got a personal sentence, something like that. Then start on your qualifications, I do. And no matter if it's not your most recent qualification, but definitely put your TEFL qualifications at the top. It's a TEFL job you're going for. Be very clear what TEFL certificate you have, okay? So think of... have the name of your certificate. So TEFL certificate, I think, is generally fine. That's generally what they call. Now, if you've gone for a level 5 one, you might want to go more, that kind of thing. But definitely put then the name of the company. Recruiters know TEFL companies. They know which companies are good quality and which companies are bad quality. Okay, we do. So put the name of the company. And it's also important that we can then search the name of that company to check the qualification that you've done, to check that it's accredited, to check that it's of a high quality, to check the number of hours involved. Put the number of hours. If it's 120 hours, tends to be the magic number. But if you've studied more than that, put 168 hours, whatever it might be, and then put the date that you finished it, or the date you got the qualification is probably a better one, actually. Put the date of the certificate, okay? List within that, very briefly, list the subjects you studied on it. So, you know, if you did a module in Young Learners, put that on there. If you, just on the 120 hour one, if you did TEFL methodology, put that topics studied, TEFL methodology, giving feedback, whatever it might be, okay? Put that in there. Or state simply what you did. I studied 120 hours learning basic TEFL, learning TEFL methodology, whatever it might be. Okay, just do something like that. All right. Don't just put the name certificate. Just show a little bit what you've learned, what you got from it. Okay. Then after your TEFL certificate, go from the highest qualification to the lowest. That's what I like. Okay, now the other way of doing it is chronological order. You could put the most recent ones downwards, but I like to see sort of what would next be the highest qualification to the lowest. Okay, so that tends to be degree level going down, finishing at your high school leavers. Now that's probably the most recent to the oldest, but definitely I think just start with the highest qualification next. Okay. Highlight anything relevant within that. So in your degree, for example, did you give presentations? Did you work as a team? That kind of thing. That is part of teaching. That's a big part of teaching. In your high school English, in your high school qualifications, what English grammar did you study? What English literature did you study? That kind of thing. Anything that is relevant to teaching English as a foreign language. Okay. And then at the end, I think probably put your languages you speak plus test results. So don't just say fluent in English. You know, that doesn't really mean much. People can be fluent at different levels. So really, you've got to say fluent in English plus IELTS level 8.5. And then you might want to go into reading, writing, listening, speaking. Fluent in English, fluent in Spanish, took this qualification in Spanish, have an A level in Spanish, whatever it might be. Don't just say you're fluent in a language, you have to be able to prove it as well. Okay. Then employment history. Sorry, guys, some lovely questions coming in. Definitely going to get some. Then get onto the employment history, okay? Onto the employment history. So most recent first. Now, I'm talking about any employment history, because we know as recruiters that there's going to be people applying who don't have any experience. We know that, okay? And very clearly in job listings, it says whether you can apply if you've got experience or not. So if you've got no experience, don't think about any other work you've done is not relevant. It's not true. We still want to see that, okay? We still want to see the most recent experience you have. So again, most recent to oldest, okay? And once you're in it, once you're writing it, highlight anything at all where you dealt with customers verbally. In what ways did you speak to customers somehow? Okay. Could be on the phone, could be in a shop, could be on an office. Did you go to their place of work? Whatever it might be. Anything where you dealt with customers verbally. Anything where you trained someone, no matter how small that training was. So if you just showed someone how to use a certain piece of software, put that on there. If you train someone how to use a till, put that on there. Anything where you trained someone, okay? Anything where you worked with kids, even for a little bit, anything like that, fantastic. TEFL people love that. Anywhere where you spoke in public. So did you go and sell something? Did you have to do a webinar for someone? Did you go and get interviewed for something? Anything like that, put it on there. It's fantastic, okay? It's really good, all right? Anything where you use technology. Anything at all, because especially if you're going for an online job, anything where you use technology is really, really good. Really fantastic, okay? Dealt with people whose first language was not English. Anything like that at all. As again, TEFL people love that. So just think back through all of your work and think deeply. Don't just think, oh, there's nothing that's TEFL. Oh, I've done nothing that's TEFL. Nothing. I hear that a lot. And then I say, well, wait there, what was your job? Oh, I worked in a supermarket. So did you speak to customers? Yeah, quite a bit. Did you ever show anyone how to use a till? Oh yeah, I had to show Margaret how to use a till. That's training, that's teaching, that shows that you can teach. Okay. Then maybe a section other information, but be brief in this section. What I should have probably said was that, if 2 pages is maximum really for a CV, I think, 2 sides of a paper. Now, it's better to, I think, probably try and fit it all on 1 page than to go for like 1 page and a little bit on the other page. Be really careful how you lay it out. Okay, but when you get to the other section, be brief. I don't want a massive long chapter about how you are really good at playing Fortnite on the PC. I don't want a chapter listing all your favorite authors that you love reading. No, just be brief about it. Okay, and only put it if it's relevant to the job. Okay, so I like to go to nightclubs. Oh, do you? Congratulations. How is that going to help me as a manager of a language school to get a good teacher in? Put it if it's relevant. So sort of thing that you might have that's relevant. If you're going for an online teaching job, you might put something like, I use computers. I enjoy speaking on Skype to my friends, something like that. Okay. Anything where you use computers, get that in there. Travel experience, be careful. It's like, oh, do you know what? I went for a hen do for someone's wedding for a weekend in Barcelona. I'm not so sure how great that travel experience is, but if you put something like, oh, I enjoyed traveling to Wales to see some other cultures, or I went to Canada to see sort of other cultures, that kind of thing. Yeah, that kind of thing is lovely. We love that. Interest in foreign cultures. So, I enjoy reading Japanese literature, for example. I enjoy watching Chinese movies, whatever it might be. That kind of thing is lovely. But be careful, okay? If you've got a massive interest in Japanese culture and you're applying for a job in Korea, they're not the best of friends. Do a bit of research about that sort of thing, okay? And then probably, 1 or 2 lines extra, maybe about just generally about your hobbies. That's, you enjoy playing football. I enjoy going to the gym, that kind of thing. All right. Good. Right, if you've got no job experience, if you're sort of fresh out of school, or you've just never had a job and you really can't think of anything in your work experience that matches anything to do with training, teaching, anything like that, add more to the qualification section. So you might need to pad that out, give that a bit more. Okay, so think deeply about what you did at school. What you did at school, think really deeply. Okay, if you've got no job experience, think carefully about everything you did at school, because I bet you there's something in there that you didn't think about. I bet you. Okay, think deeply about what you did at school. Then, if you've still not really got anything, or if you've got a very small amount of experience in TEFL, I would think about taking extra modules. So here at the TEFL org, if you go to our qualifications section, okay, and I'll show you that a bit, or maybe Alan can put it in there. If you go to the bit where it talks about the courses that we offer, we put extra modules that we can offer. So for example, you could do the 120-hour course, but you could then do something like a module in teaching young learners. That is an extra qualification, or it shows that you're willing to do extra to get the job. You also do things with like exam teaching. That's a big part of TEFL. Schools love that. We also do extra bits on just online teaching if that's what you want to go for, that kind of thing. All right. Maybe start volunteering and start teaching your friends. Okay, if you've got no experience. So, you can start thinking, okay, yes, I volunteered by teaching local children some English, something like that. If you're in an English speaking country, America, Canada, Australia, Britain, Ireland, there will be refugees near you somewhere that don't speak very good English who want free lessons or cheap lessons. And you could generally contact local mosques, contact local churches, and they'll be able to put you in touch with that kind of thing. If you're not in a country where there's people around you wanting to have free classes, then think about teaching your friends. If you've got really good English in your circle of friends, start teaching them. Then that's something that you could show to a recruiter that you are willing to learn more about teaching. Okay. Be patient. If you've not got any job experience, be patient, but you will get work eventually. I promise you. I promise you it's out there. Okay. Cover letter. It's more important, the cover letter, than you think it is. So you've filled in an application form, you've filled in a CV, now you've got to write the cover letter. Oh, okay. Dear Mr. Carl, this is my TEFL application. Regards, Dawn. Sorry, Dawn, I just saw your name up there. It's not enough. Okay, you might be tired. You might have to think you're repeating yourself, but it's also very obvious when it's a generic letter. It's very obvious when a copy and paste cover letter or a very simple copy cover letter has been sent in. Okay, and it's annoying as a recruiter. All right. Here, this is the key part, I think, to write about the students the company has. So if you know that company has, let's say, Korean businessmen, because you've done a bit of look online, you've looked at the job description, think about, oh yes, I have a passion for teaching Korean businessmen because I enjoy reading about business English in Korea, and I've learned a couple of things that I would like to put into practice. Just be really link you to the job that you're going for. Okay. Highlight why you want to do it. I think that's a key part here. And don't just say, oh, I want to live in China. No, I want to help Chinese students to improve their English or improve their speaking, whatever it might be. Be really clear about why you want to do it. Read the job description, then write the cover letter, then read the job description again, and then check your cover letter. It's really clear that there's a link between the cover letter and the job description. Okay. So you tend to, on the application form, again, it's different. Everyone's different. But you tend to have sort of similar types of questions. But you also tend to just have bits where they want you to highlight, you to write differently in different words from your CV. Okay. So these are some of the typical extra questions you might have. And it might say something like, please give details of your TEFL experience. And as I said, if you've not got any TEFL experience, it's okay to say, I've not got any TEFL experience, especially if the job is stating no TEFL experience. But as I said, highlight the bits that you've done. I have no TEFL experience, but I have training experience through training people to do da 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 da. I have public speaking experience in terms of da 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 da. Put a bit of that in if you've got no TEFL experience. And then it tends to be sort of quite clear about what the students that company has. So have you got any experience in teaching kids, business English, Chinese students? And again, if you've got some, fantastic, put it in. And if you have got some, put in, yes, I taught for 5 terms kids aged 8 to 11, whatever it might be. Yes, I taught 4 terms of business English. Okay. Yes, I taught a short class of Chinese students, whatever it might be. If you've not got any, then just say, no, I haven't got any business English experience, but I have completed extra modules in business English. I have researched what is needed in a business English course. I think it is da 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 da. Okay, that kind of thing. All right. Another one is, what do you think will be the challenges of teaching quiet students, Chinese students, Italian students? Or what do you think will be the challenges of working in Vietnam, of working in Thailand, whatever it might be? Okay. And then a brief couple of chapters. Try not to be too, culturally stereotypical there. Actually do your research and actually read a few different sites before you apply, before you write that kind of thing. You might also find that these sort of questions come up in the interview, but these are also some of the typical applications. Okay. Why do you want to work for this company? Okay. Because and then again, talk about the students, tend to talk about the reputation that the company has, that kind of thing. All right. And do you fulfill the visa criteria? Tends to be an important one. They want to be able to see there in the application that you are able to get a visa for the country you're going to, or that kind of thing. All right. Now, annoyances, and I can say this as someone who's done lots of recruiting. My number one most annoyance is bad Microsoft Word file names. When I've put a job application up there and I've got 200 people applying and people are writing things like CV.doc, or it's written not in English, put a nice quality file name on your Microsoft Word document. Imagine if you get all of these ones in and you're trying to put them all in a folder and you want to organize them all nicely yourself and you're having to go in and rename them with the name of the person whose CV it is. Put a good Microsoft Word file name on. Non-English on the forms. I've had this so many times that people have left in a bit of, words that's not English on the forms. Oh, that drives you mad. And it's pretty obvious then that they're using a translator. Oh, it might sound crazy. Don't be that person. It happens. The forms being changed to a different language also drives people mad. So Microsoft Word has a little section where you can change the language on it. Okay. Keep it in the same language that it's been sent to you in. Okay. Or if you're going to change it to English. Don't change it to Hungarian and then type it in. Oh my word. Okay. Check the settings on your Microsoft Word. Why is this important? Because sometimes it changes the order the words are seen. So sometimes words are seen on the right, on the left, or sometimes it makes the words go down instead of left. You don't know you're doing it, but it drives people reading it crazy. Obviously, you're applying for a job as a TEFL teacher. Make sure your grammar and spelling are correct. Use your spell check. If you put Microsoft Word into English, it will do this for you automatically. Use the grammar and the spelling techniques. Okay. Not doing what you asked. I said to it at the start, that's infuriating. I just want to show it again. If a company is asking for you to send a copy of your passport, to send your CV, to do all these things, and you don't do them, I wouldn't give you a job, honestly. And copy and pasted answers. It might sound crazy, but you can really tell when it's just a generic answer to a question and it's not tailored, it's not changed for the job that I'm offering you. Okay. Thank you. Did I sound angry at the end now? I hope I didn't sound angry, because I'm not angry. I'm just trying to remember what the things that happened to me before. Okay. And when I was used to run schools, at the moment I don't run a school, but I used to run schools, and that's to drive me mad. Right, let me just get my windows in the right place so I can hopefully show you some things as they come up. Right, thank you everybody that's still with us. I hope you found that interesting. Okay, so where's the first question? Let me go back a bit. Let me go back. All the hellos, people in Spain. Claire, hello. You live in Spain. Do I need to do an exam to get my C1 or C2 in Spanish? Right, so quite often for Spain, France, sometimes Italy, but quite often for these jobs in those countries, they ask you to have Spanish to a certain level. And the reason why they're doing that is not for you to use the Spanish in the classroom. It's basically just to show that you can live there. And it's also to show that you'd be happy talking to the admin staff who maybe don't have good English, that kind of thing. So that tends to be why they do this. All right. The other thing as well is talking to the parents. If you're going to be teaching kids, they want you to maybe the parents don't have very good English, but if you're doing things like parents' evening, maybe you need to do it in English. All right. So you need to do it in Spanish. Right. If it says that, there's a couple of ways that they'll check. The first way would be through a qualification. So yes, you would have to take something like an IELTS test, but in Spanish. And there's lots out there. There's lots of different ones. You can Google them and see. The other way they might do that is in the interview. They might say to you, we're going to now do part of the interview in Spanish. So what you need to do is find out from them, how do they want to check your Spanish level, Claire? But yes, you might need to do an exam. Okay. Or they will definitely check it somehow, and it might just be in the interview. If anyone's got any experience, please put that in there. Okay. Claire, thank you. Oh, Claire's got another question. Same Claire, I think. Does TEFL help to make a CV? So if you do the course with us, TEFL.org, go to our website, TEFL.org. If you do the course with us, yes, we will help you. Quite simple. Okay. For our graduates, TEFL.org. Yes, we do. We don't look. We can show you how to make a CV. We won't write it for you. You've still got to write it yourself, but we can definitely help you out and check it and that kind of thing. All right, Claire. Lewis, hello. Is it too late to apply for summer internships? How would you recommend going about this? Right. So no, is it a short answer? If you're still seeing ones advertised, then yes, go for it. Now, so we do offer some internships here at the TEFL.org. So if you go to I'll just get up the website now. Okay. So if you go to our website, TEFL.org, and I'm on the job center. Have I got the homepage up somewhere? Yes, there's the homepage. Okay. So if you go to our website, TEFL.org, you will see our homepage. We have a section here on internships. So if you click on that, you'll be able to see, I think we have one in Vietnam at the moment. It's not something that I know a huge amount about, but we have internships in Vietnam, and I think we have some in Korea as well. So that's something that's worth looking at. Now, if you do, I don't think it's quite too late if they are still open. Okay, if there's not been lots of applicants, Lewis. What I would say to you though is that if you're looking for summer work, Lewis, and I don't know where you are in the world, summer work is a temporary shorts contracts most often come up in the summer, if I said that right. So language schools in the UK and also in Spain and in Germany and Italy, and you'll see them advertised on our website in the job center, TEFL jobs at the top there. They very often want short-term, as in 2 or 3 month contracts in the summer. You don't tend to get short-term contracts over winter, spring or autumn. So if the internships aren't working and internships aren't available for you, Lewis, then get on the job centre and look for jobs around the UK, around Ireland, in France, Italy, Spain that are just 3 months, maybe 4 months. And you might even see 2-month ones. Summer is the best time for those sort of ones. Okay. Claire, I think this is talking about the piercings and the tattoos. So, yeah, when you take your photo, Ear piercings are fine. Believe it or not, I've got my ear pierced. Ear piercings are fine. Right. Nose piercings, lip piercings, that kind of thing, I would take them out. They're probably not going to be very happy if you teach with those in. Not because it's just for cultural reasons more than anything, Claire. Okay, so I personally would take them out. Okay. Ali, on the TEFL cert, it lists the courses that came with your course. Would that be something to include as well? Yes, for sure. I think it's very interesting. Show the recruiter what you have learnt on the TEFL course. Yeah, you know, if you know, with the bits that we say, like TEFL methodology, lesson planning, that kind of thing, put that on there. Yeah, it shows the recruiter that you've been paying attention and that you know some of the words and some of the jargon involved in TEFL, for sure. Okay. LL, what if it's an online TEFL course? Well, most TEFL courses, ours are online TEFL courses. We offer practical modules. We offer practical modules where you either physically spend the weekend in the classroom with someone like me, or we offer practical modules on Zoom. Okay. But yeah, most courses are online. Okay, so yeah, just put in there what you learned in terms of the methodology, as I just said to Ali. Okay. Grimes, what a great name. Grimes Latifa. Are you a rapper? That's a sort of nice rapper name. I'm not. I was going to start rapping then. That would not go down well. Grimes, hello. Is it possible to work for 2 companies at the same time? Interesting. Online, yes, for sure. I would, in fact, recommend working for more than one company online at one time, because you'll find out ones that you think are good. You'll find out ones that you think that work well for you in terms of the timings. Okay. If you're going to be self-employed, so for example, when I was in Japan, I went there, first of all, working for a company, but then I became self-employed. I worked for about 4 or 5 different companies. No problem at all. However, if you're going to go abroad for the first time, very often your visa is linked to a company. Not all the time, but very often it's linked to a company. That company won't allow you to go and work for 2 companies. Okay, so that's if you're going to go abroad on a work visa. Okay, but definitely if you're going to work online from wherever you are in the world, Grimes, I reckon working for 2 companies is definitely fine. Definitely something you can do. Okay. Vincent, what if you don't have any experience as a TEFL teacher? So I sort of went into that a bit in the presentation. I hope I answered that question, Vincent. But definitely just think about any experience you have in your work where you train people, as I said. If you don't have anything like that at all, think about school where you sort of helped out by doing class discussions, where you gave presentations, that kind of thing. Anything where you're talking in front of people. Okay. Dawn, hello. You have 20 years work experience with multiple positions. All right, Dawn, show off. How far back do you recommend to go back in employment history? That's a really important one. So I'm guessing you don't have 20 jobs. You just got 20 experiences. Okay. I'm approaching that now. And the jobs that I have that much experience. And what I do about the jobs that went far back, I tend to just put the job title and then just one line about it. I don't tend to go into lots of detail about that. However, what I would say to you, Dawn, is if you don't have teaching experience, if you've got none on that 20 years that's teaching experience, then definitely I would go back as far as you can, but I would also definitely, even if the ones that are 15 years ago have some sort of relevant teaching experience, I would highlight that more. I'd still put that on there. But yeah, I would definitely go back a bit. You might even get to a point to fit it on 2 pages where you just sort of put from 20 years ago? From 2002 to 2004, 2 years experience working in a supermarket, whatever it might be. All right, Dawn, I hope that clears it for you. Okay. Don, PVG clearance. Is that police clearance? I think it is. Alan, I don't know if you can, before I start going off on an answer about PVG clearance, but I'm pretty sure PVG is police clearance. Yeah. The short answer is yes. Every TEFL job I've ever worked at, they've asked me to get police clearance in the country that I'm from, the UK. Every single one. Yeah. I've even, and this is a real annoyance, been asked to get police clearance from the countries that I then went on to work in. Can you imagine? I worked in Iraq for a bit. Can you imagine trying to get police clearance from an Iraqi school? Yeah. Yeah, it's really difficult. Okay. It's really difficult. Yes, police check. Yes. Thank you, Alan. Thank you. And Pumi, how can all this be on a CV? Trust me, I've got 20 years work experience. I can fit it on 2 pages if I lay it all out nicely. Yeah, for sure. Okay. You've got to be selective. Select to the job that you're working in. Okay. I did answer your question. Thank you. Vincent, could I show how to find job applications? Yes. So we did a webinar, I think, a few weeks ago, exactly like this one, where I talked all about where to find jobs. But I'm going to quickly show you the best site for jobs, Vincent, because it's Friday afternoon and I'm feeling generous. So TEFL.org, obviously, TEFL.org is the best place to find jobs. Okay, let me see if I can just get it up. There we go. At the top here, we have TEFL jobs. Click on that and you get to the TEFL.org jobs center. Scroll down a bit here. You can, filter by country. You can check about degree requirements, all this kind of thing. You can then see the jobs below. There's lots of different jobs on there. That, I think, is the best website, especially if you've got one of our qualifications. Next best after that is eslcafe.com. If you go to eslcafe.com, and it's a man called Dave, and I'm very jealous of his website because it's not the best looking of website, but it's very thorough, I think. If you click on that, you can find, I want to go teach in Korea. You click on that, find a job. It will list you all the jobs in Korea. Okay, that's a good one. The last best one is TEFL.com. We are TEFL.org. This website is TEFL.com. Again, find the jobs. You can search by online jobs, that kind of thing. They're the best ones to go for, Vincent. Okay. But also go back and look at the webinar I did a few weeks ago. You'll find it on, where are you? You're on YouTube. It's definitely on YouTube. James in Nairobi, hello. Dawn. Interesting. Would I recommend making a Word doc a PDF? Right, so very often the companies tell you how they want it. I tend to always keep mine as a Word doc. Always. I don't ever send it as a PDF. The only time I do it as a PDF is if I'm posting it, and it doesn't happen so much nowadays, but you used to be able to post your CV on websites and then recruiters would try and find you. That's when I do it as a PDF. But I think Word doc is fine. Tend to. Okay. Good. Right. Next question. Let me find the next question. Abraham, what are the chances of getting a job from Nigeria? I think pretty good. Yeah, for sure. We help people. Now, the problem is not that you are in Nigeria. The problem tends to be that companies around the world have certain requirements by their home office. So, for example, the Chinese ministry does say what countries it allows to get a work visa from. I don't think Nigeria is on that list, but it's what I would look for you if I was you, Abraham, would be to look at countries around the world that accept Nigerians. So I would sort of think of somewhere like Cambodia. I would maybe think of somewhere like Central America, maybe something like that. You might be able to get some work that way. Okay. It depends also on your degrees situation and that kind of thing, Abraham. Okay. Now Zini, can you submit your certificate from Spanish school for my Spanish level? Does that have to be an international? It tends to have to be an international qualification. Okay. Tends to be, it tends to be that they want the DELE. Okay. A school certificate in English or Spanish tends to not be good enough. Okay. Steve, hello. Is it possible to show, thank you, Alan, for highlighting that one. Is it possible to show confidence by proposing a video call and display our proficiency? No. They tend to want you. So are you saying if you're a non-native speaker or if you're trying to show that you have Spanish, right? It tends to be that for English, for jobs where you've got to show your English ability, companies tend to want you to be able to show an English certificate like an IELTS or Trinity, something like that. If you're going for something where they want you to have Spanish as sort of conversational level, then they sometimes allow you to do that in the video call. What they won't tend to do is do it outside of the general job application process, Steve. If that shows that. If that makes sense. Does it make sense? Thank you, everybody. Job websites, I think I've shown them so far. Eli, will a CEFR, I think Common European Framework of Reference, I think CEFR, I think it is, Eli, online exam score be soundproof to English fluency? I don't know I've never heard of CFER. Look, they tend to have a list. Recruiters tend to have a list of companies that they recruit. So companies, exams that they trust. I've lost my English now. And that tends to be the most well-known ones. Maybe something like Duolingo, IELTS, Trinity, Cambridge, that kind of thing. All right. Because how do they know the quality of the exam that you're doing? Okay. So what I would do in that process, I would email them and say, what do you accept as English fluency level? Okay. Ali, for a first-time teacher abroad, can you give a brief rundown of the general steps from when the position is offered to obtain the visa? Yes. So a company it's a very good way of finding out if a company's good is how helpful they are with the visa process. Okay. Companies want the visa process to go smoothly. They very often have to do something at their end to start the visa process. So it's definitely good. Right. What you need to do does depend on the country. Some countries would want you to get your go for an interview, for example. That could be annoying, can be expensive. Find out if the company you're going to work for is allowing that. Some countries also want you to get your documents notarized to show that they're not fake. Again, check if you have to pay for that or is the company you're going to work for going to pay for that. The company you're going to work for will tell you all these steps and will definitely get the ball rolling in that. They tend to be really, really helpful with it. Some countries, you go over there on a tourist visa and then you sort out the visa process when you're there. They'll be able to help you with that. So a bit of research yourself, Ali, about where you're going to go will show you what's good, what's bad. Okay, Claire, with the level 5, can you teach children as well? So any of our TEFL certificates you can use to teach children. Okay, what I would suggest is and a lot of the jobs out there are teaching young learners. So what I would suggest is if that's a very good added module to do. Okay. Myself, my qualification, I've done young learners on top of it, even though I have master's level qualifications, because teaching kids has very different classroom management in terms of the methodology. So I would recommend young learners as an extra module if that's the sort of thing you fancy doing. Okay. Gemma, an aptis certificate. I think, again, you'll have to contact the company that you're going to work for to find out what they accept. Okay, aptis is not a bad one, but I would contact the company and say, look, I want to apply for your job. I have this certificate. Is that good enough to prove my level of English? Okay. Jennifer, yes, I would highlight all of that. Yes, online teaching was 30 years ago, wasn't academic. Fine, go for it. I'm sure business, corporate experience, you must have some sort of training, that kind of thing. Yeah, I would highlight all of that, Jennifer. And you could sort of say, I really enjoyed it 30 years ago. Now I want to go for it. Okay. Iddy, do you need the police check if teaching online? Yep. Tends to be that they want you to have a police check. Yep. Kelvin, I think questioning the application CV, is it necessary? But I think really, yeah. But you see, unfortunately, right, so there's two ways. They might ask for a copy of your passport and then they've got your photo that way. But when I send my CV out, I do have a photo of me looking smiley and happy we're on as well. I put up there because that's what Chinese Asian people tend to do. Okay. Right, any questions? Michael, if you're a native speaker from Canada, will you still need a certificate? No. If you're a native speaker, no. So what they tend to do is if you did your high school qualifications in English and then your university qualifications in English, companies tend to see you as a native speaker. I've never taken an English test to prove my English. All I've done is show that I was born in the UK and I studied in the UK in an English speaking school. Thank you, everybody else. Everybody, thank you for all your questions. I'm sorry that I didn't get around to them. We have done lots and lots of these webinars, so please go back and watch some of the other ones if you want to. Or if you have some very specific questions, please send us a message. You can go to our website, and if you go to the bottom right part of our website, there is a chat with us function down the bottom here. If you click on that, you'll be able to send us some information, chat with us. Someone will get back to you really quickly on that. Okay. Also, if you go to Facebook, on our Facebook page, there's a message us section. Go on that. We also have a TEFL org group on Facebook. That's a really sort of informal discussion group where people ask each other questions, all that kind of thing. We also read the comments on these videos, that kind of thing. So please just send us a message, get in contact if you have any other questions. Obviously, please like this video. Please tell us in the comments if you didn't like this video. Tell us what you need. Tell us what sort of topics you want us to cover. We love doing these videos. Thank you, everybody. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you.